everyone, Alyssa Lebrecq, nutritionist and gut expert, and tonight we're talking all about Metamucil. So many of you guys are hanging out in our community, the Love Your Guts IBS support group, and are chit-chatting about Metamucil because it has been recommended to you by your doctor, and, well, it's not exactly working. And so what I want to talk to you about tonight is we're going to kind of unpack this whole Metamucil thing. And the truth is, it's really not the answer, but I'm not just going to, throw words around and tell you that. I'm going to explain exactly why. We're going to go through the ingredients specifically and talk about why this is probably the worst thing that you could take right now. And I'm going to explain what you want to do instead. So let's just get right down to business. We're going to start with these ingredients. And the thing about Metamucil is there's a whole bunch of different ones on the market. And so I'm just going to look at the powdered ingredients, the ones I looked up, the orange flavored one specifically. It really doesn't matter which one you look at, all of the ingredients suck. So, but we're going to get the gist of this based on the majority of Metamucil products. So here's the thing that you have to understand when it comes to constipation. Well, first and foremost, you're not deficient in Metamucil. That's not the thing that was causing your diarrhea in the first place. Your constipation in the first place. There's something much deeper going on. And I always say this, I feel like a broken record sometimes, but if we're not addressing the reason why you are constipated, bloated, gassy, whatever it is, then we're not really doing a damn thing, right? If you're not addressing the reason why, you are simply managing the symptom and prolonging your pain. Because what's going to happen is today you're going to take Metamucil, let's say, because the doctor told you so, and so it's not your fault, but you take Metamucil and you might get some temporary relief, and then sure as shit, you're right back to constipation again. So you have to continually buy into these products in order to get continued relief. So this is why we call it a symptom management tool. It's really just putting a bandage on it. And the scary part is when it comes to Metamucil, from a constipation perspective, it's just putting a bandage on it and it's making your gut worse. It's making your overall health worse because this is like truly and not a good quality product based on some of the ingredients that are in it. So let's really unpack this. We're gonna get down to business now. So, first ingredient, psyllium husk powder. All right, I can get down with that. I can totally get down with psyllium husk. And it's interesting because psyllium husk is actually a really bulking fiber. So it's a fiber that we would actually typically recommend for someone that has diarrhea because it's so effective at bulking and forming a poop. It's actually the last type of fiber that I would recommend for someone who has constipation because it can bung you up. But the interesting thing is when you take a fiber like psyllium that's really bulking and forming and can bung you up, and you pair it with a bunch of other ingredients that are quite shitty by nature, which we're going to dive into, and quite irritating to the gut, is it really the psyllium that's helping you poop, or is it these inflammatory ingredients that are paired with it? I'm not sure, but I'll tell you, if you want to take psyllium, take it on its own. Go to your health food store. Most health food stores will have it in like a bulk bin, and you can just buy straight psyllium husk powder if that's what you really want, without all the other crap in it, right? Or you can buy psyllium husk capsules. Or bags of powder. Even grocery stores, I've started to see these in grocery stores. So if you really want just a psyllium husk powder, that's fine. Go buy just straight psyllium husk and throw your Metamucil in the garbage. All right? Now, as I said though, be aware that psyllium husk is probably going to bung you up even more. And if you want to increase your fiber, if the reason you're taking Metamucil is to increase your fiber, and you are someone who has constipation, you're better off adding in something like ground flaxseed as opposed to psyllium husk. Now, All that aside, that's not the only ingredient that you get, my friend, when you are taking Metamucil. Let's keep going. Let's talk about all the other ingredients. So, another really fun ingredient is maltodextrin. Now, would you ever go out to a store and buy a big bag of maltodextrin and just start eating that shit with a spoon? No. And so one of the ways that I like to approach ingredient lists is if I can't pronounce it, I don't know what the heck it is, or I wouldn't go buy a bag of that ingredient on its own and eat it, then I probably shouldn't be consuming that product. And so this is a bit of a diversion here, but this goes for even like gluten-free products. We hear everyone talking about going gluten-free, and that's fine and dandy, but you can eat really unhealthy gluten-free products. And so we like to recommend gluten-free products that have whole food ingredients in it, like quinoa or almond flour or brown rice flour in it, instead of the products that are filled with starches and artificial flavors. So this stands to be true ingredient-wise, whether we're talking about foods, supplements, whatever the heck you plan to ingest. So if you're not going to go eat a big bag of maltodextrin, probably because you're sitting at home watching this being like, I don't even know what the heck that is or what that does, then it's probably not something that you can consume. But let's actually talk about what the heck it is. Well, first of all, maltodextrin can be sourced from several things. Most often it's derived from corn, and well, most corn is genetically modified, and that does come with health harm, right? It's going to have harmful effects on your health. So interestingly, maltodextrin has been shown to cause problems with your intestinal lining, creating things like leaky gut or gut permeability. And so that's really not ideal, because that's likely part of the problem that you have right now in the first place. And now you're working so hard to try to fix your symptoms, so you add in a product unbeknownst to you containing ingredients that are worsening your gut. So we really don't like that. And when we take things like maltodextrin, it actually puts you at risk for, guess what? IBS, right? Inflammatory bowel diseases as well, right? And so we really need to be mindful of these kinds of ingredients. And also it's harmful for your gut bacteria. So your good and bad bacteria also need to be monitored, and things like maltodextrin are depleting your good guys. That's not good. So maltodextrin, cut that ingredient out. If you're finding that in some sort of product that you're taking, it needs to go in the garbage, okay? Now, some other fun ingredients that come in maltodextrin. And you know, I really love this when you read a product and it says natural flavor or natural and artificial flavor. Now, interestingly, Metamucil has both. It has natural and artificial flavor. Guys, this term is completely unregulated, even natural flavor, and it's really meant to trick you. These two terms, natural and artificial flavoring, any sort of flavoring, is just a fancy term for chemical shitstorm. In fact, that one phrase, artificial flavoring or even natural flavoring, can contain hundreds of chemicals. And so we don't even know what the heck you're ingesting at that point. And that is really scary. And so at that point, we're just kind of going, well, hopefully there's nothing bad in it. But based on the other ingredients, it's not looking so good so far, right? All right, aspartame is another really good one. Well, not good one, but a good one to be aware of. And you're gonna find this in not just Metamucil, but it's in pops, it's in candies, it's in all sorts of food. But aspartame is not just putting you at risk of damaging your gut, but there is proof that it is a carcinogen. It's cancer causing. It will put you at risk for heart conditions. It will even create things like diabetes and weight gain in your body. And so these are ingredients that, again, are not serving you. And if we really just go back a step and be like, okay, what are you trying to do here? You're trying to fix your constipation. You want to add more fiber in, then let's just eat the fiber. just again, go out and go buy the plain fiber on its own, the psyllium husk on its own, or the ground flaxseed on its own, and get rid of these products. The last ingredient that I have to really highlight here is yellow 6. So it's a dye, it's a coloring, and there are so many harmful health effects that are connected to not just yellow 6, but all sorts of artificial colors that we find in our foods. And the truth is they're not food-like, they're chemicals. And, this is also linked to cancer among many, many other health conditions. So I really don't want to make this into like a real heavy, negative kind of, I just don't want to even get into all the cancer talk around it, okay? But what I want to bring your awareness to is this product is mostly made of ingredients that are not serving your health, and we can do much better. And so, as I said, please understand if we go right back to the core of this, your constipation is not due to a deficiency in Metamucil. It's just not, right? And we have to address the reason why you're constipated in the first place, right? And when we get to that answer, that's when the magic happens. And if you really want to be taking something like Metamucil to increase your fiber, just go buy the plain fiber, okay? So now let's shift gears. I want to talk about, there's 2 really important things that you need to do if you want to get your poops going and get these bowels stabilized. So the very first thing you need to focus on is stabilization of your intestines. Now, this is really going to differ for every single person because the reason why your bowels are all over the place differs for every person. There's several things that can contribute to that. It could be your motility. It could be your microbiome off. It could be damage and deficiencies. It could be food sensitivities. There's all sorts of things that can be contributing to your bowels being all wonky. And so stabilization is really about understanding what your individual body requires and what is irritating your individual bowels. And by addressing, again, all of those things, motility, damage, deficiencies, food sensitivities, all of those things, all right? So number 1 is stabilizing your intestines by creating a plan that addresses what is causing your individual symptoms, so addressing the why. The second thing that you need to go in and do is rehydration, whether you're constipated or you have diarrhea. If you're constipated, your bowels are dried up like the Sahara Desert, my friend, and you need water in your intestines because your poop is mostly made up of water. And so if you're not drinking enough water, or if you're not absorbing water, all of these things are going to be problematic for you. So when we start to focus on rehydration, it's not just about consuming your water, but also making sure that you're absorbing your water. Has anyone ever been drinking water and found that they feel so heavy? Like they feel bloated after they even just drink water? Or have you ever drank water and it's like you have to run right to the bathroom? It's like you're peeing like a racehorse all day and you swear to God that your body's not absorbing any of that dang water. Right? Let me know in the comments if that is you, because it's really common, believe it or not. It's really common that a lot of people are even drinking their water, but they're not absorbing it. And so that's something that we have to fix when we go into the rehydration part of fixing your gut. So these 2 things are going to be really, really, really important. And the last thing I want to leave you with is I want to hear from you, because I know Metamucil is just probably one of the things that you've tried. There's many, many other things like Restoralax, other even Senecot. There's tons of different products out there that people try that frankly just don't quite work. But I want to hear from you. What other things have you tried beyond just these types of laxatives to help get your constipation moving? What diets have you tried? What foods have you taken out? What supplements have you taken? Drop them in the comments, because what I find is if you're not getting results, it's not because it's not possible for you. It just simply means that you're missing some pieces of the puzzle. And so let's kind of do some detective work. Let's take a fine tooth comb through this and make sure that we're picking up all of the pieces. What you might not realize is that there's a couple of pieces that you've been missing that are keeping your bowels stuck. So drop it in the comments. Let me know the things that you've tried, and let's navigate through this and see if we can fill in the gaps. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Give it a like, give it a share. Let's get the whole world pooping. Having 2 to 3 perfect poops every day. How does that sound? We'll see you guys next week. Bye.